So the biggest news coming out this week, literally as I'm editing our last video talking about trades and whatnot, the New York Jets decide to get rid of Le'Veon Bell. I think Adam Gase said that they were trying to trade him for a while now, but no team was really willing to pick up on that contract. So they just cut him. It looks like it was between three teams, the Bills, Chiefs, and Dolphins. And the Chiefs, I guess, picked him up. What are your thoughts?
Power moves.
Yeah.
Power moves by the Chiefs. Isn't that what Dwayne Wade said when Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors?
Is it?
That was his reaction. I'm pretty
Power
positive
moves?
he was like, power moves, yes. So every time somebody makes a trade, I hit him with that power moves. But anyway, it was kind of expected and a perfect situation for whoever team was picking up, let alone the Chiefs, who just added that fifth Thanos ring. Um, he, because from my understanding, with the contract situation is the next team going to sign him signs him for the veteran minimum. Basically, they could sign him for like $1 million, and the Jets have to pay the rest of that contract, which is like 6-7 million. And when you look at it from the Chiefs standpoint, I get power moves. You know what I mean? Like perfect situation. You take a flyer on a guy for $1 million who's been an All Pro before, who's gonna probably succeed in your system based on what he's done previously. And if he sucks, who cares? He sucks. Like you already got your team in place. But for the Jets, what in the fuck is going on? Like genuinely, what in the fuck is going on with that team? How can you let go of a player? Like if you're the owner, right? To me, if I'm a player on that team, it looks like they're buying it to Adam Gase. I don't
They're
know.
they're what? Buying it?
Buying into Adam Gase.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. They're just when you thought like they couldn't get any worse, they go out and like totally redeem themselves. Yeah, it's crazy because they couldn't trade him because no team was going to give him the money. So now they essentially have to pay him that money, and that's why other teams are willing to just give him a veteran minimum for that's probably not even $1 million, and he's fine taking it too. He's like, I'm getting like 6 million from the Jets. I don't care if I get another few hundred thousand from the Chiefs just so I can win a Super Bowl. Rumors coming out, and this is good for Le'Veon Bell's PR too, because he only signed a 1 year deal, but apparently Miami was willing to give him more money, and he was kind of like, no, I want to win a championship. Where reality is, he didn't really need that money from Miami. He's going to sign that 1 year deal, be like, I just want to win. I'm not here for the money. He's going to win a championship with Kansas City, become a free agent, and then cash in wherever he wants to next year, probably Miami, and still be getting paid by the Jets.
Yeah, exactly. He couldn't be the happiest guy in the NFL right now. Gets to leave just an awful organization from head to toe right now. It looks like, and then go to a potential Super Bowl winner where he can actually make an impact because the way they play with the running backs out of the backfield as pass catchers. So he's actually probably going to get the ball in his hands compared to what he was doing with the Jets, not seeing the field at all, not getting the ball at all. So he's probably got to be the happiest guy in the NFL right now. Absurd move by the Jets. I genuinely don't get, because at the end of the day, if no one wants to trade for him, he's I mean, unless he completely fell off and like the Jets were like, dude, no one else knows this guy sucks now, so let's get rid of him, which I doubt. But I just don't see that making any sense for the Jets at all because unless you believe in Adam Gase, unless you think he's your coach going forward still, and you want to make sure he has the team he needs or whatever, because he was signed before that GM and Gase got there. Or maybe the GM himself is like, we're not going to, deal with you next year anyway, so you could just leave now, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I'd imagine, like for instance, Jacksonville Jaguars couldn't trade Leonard Fournette, and I could see that happening because Leonard Fournette hasn't done what Le'Veon Bell has done so far in his NFL career, and he's not as versatile as Le'Veon Bell. For somebody not wanting to trade for Le'Veon Bell, like not even like a 6th round pick for that contract, I don't know. That's interesting, but I just don't get what the hell the Jets were doing. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, stories were coming out that they were trying to shop him even before the trade deadline last year because him and Gase weren't really getting along. So I guess they couldn't get rid of him last year. This year he came in and played like one. Yeah, he played like 5 or 6 carries in the Bills game. Got hurt, thrown on IR, and yeah, I mean, like you said, it almost seems like the Jets are buying into Adam Gase more than they are into their roster. And if they aren't buying into Adam Gase, then they're just fucking themselves for whoever the next coach will be, because this guy's got to deal with ridiculous amount of dead cap space from this deal. Potentially not a franchise quarterback. So I don't know what they're thinking going forward.
Yeah, that Jets position coming into next year looks very unattractive if they are bringing in a new coach. But I don't know. I really don't get it. It kind of feels like I'm not even mad at it's like, for instance, if we're gonna compare it to Kevin Durant going to the Warriors, like the league was kind of, I guess, angry about that, right? Like, oh, why would he go to the best team? They just came off a finals appearance, blah blah, this and that. But I can't even be mad at the Chiefs at this point. Like, who in their right mind wouldn't go after Le'Veon Bell when they don't even have to pay him? The Jets are paying him. Like, it's absolutely absurd that opportunity even presented itself. And it's like, even if they just drafted that French guy to be the number one back, like, hey, he's a rookie, he can sit on the bench a little bit. Let's give Le'Veon a try. Like, let's put the best team we can to go and get the Super Bowl again. And you can't even be mad at the Chiefs for, I guess, because some people are out there saying, oh, they ruined the league, blah blah. They got out like they're a powerhouse, this and that. But you can't even be mad at them for taking that opportunity because Jets fumbled it.
Yeah, I mean, even like Kansas City, like besides the first game, the French guy hasn't done that much. So running back was kind of a need. Uh, Even if you take a risk on a guy like Le'Veon Bell, you're not paying money for him. It's different than Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant, still had to get paid by Golden State. Le'Veon Bell is playing for free for Kansas City. If you're Kansas City, there's no way you don't take advantage of this. If you're Kansas City, even if the Dolphins give him a bigger deal, I mean, unless it's absurd, you probably outmatch that, and you give him the best opportunity to win a championship. For him, this is a win-win situation. He's going to get paid. He's going to go to a Super Bowl contender, and then next year he'll probably get paid again, like by the Jets and whoever else signs him.
Yeah, it was like honestly the perfect situation for Le'Veon Bell. And it's funny, we talked about before about players going to Twitter and Instagram talking about how much they hate their team, blah blah, this and that. And it works. Fuck it, just do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking go out there. Honestly, I would do it like, for instance, if because we talked about Allen Robinson doing it and like not really owning up to it or whatever, but I honestly feel like if somebody asked Le'Veon Bell, hey, did you like a post of Adam Gase being a goon? He'd be like, yeah, I did it. That's how much he fucking hated it there. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, I'm on the player side on this one. Like, I really don't get. I guess you could say he like duped the Jets and what he made like 28 million or something with them, and like, or was it 19 million? Something absurd, and only played like freaking 10 games. I don't know how much he played. Like, I don't know. I just think for his camp over there, if that was a chess move, maybe that was a chess move. Maybe they wanted to set that up or something. Maybe they knew that they wanted to get rid of him, so they're like, "Hey, Le'Veon, force your hand. Start liking pictures of his googly eyes and him blasting smelling salts. Talk about how he fucking sucks." And maybe he got out of there, and it worked. I don't know. Good move from him. I think. I guess the next leading question going into it was because he wasn't doing well in Jets uniform. How do you think he'll do in Kansas City?
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of stories are coming out comparing him to Larry Johnson when he was with Kansas City, comparing him to Steven Jackson when he was with the Rams, saying his better days are behind him. He kind of went over that rush attempt mark where they don't really come back from it. They don't rebound. Their pockets get too heavy, because they set that benchmark, and then their production goes down. I think I don't know. I think Le'Veon Bell still has some left in him. I think he was being utilized wrong in New York, as you can say for most players there. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of a prove it for him, to prove that he still got it. I think he'll do well in Kansas City considering their type of offense.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do well. when I look back at his team on the Pittsburgh Steelers when he was an All Pro, he had a stacked team. He had a good offensive line, and he was able to put up a lot of good numbers in the receiving game as well as the running game. He was utilized well, and yeah, he was younger then. And then he took that year off, went to the Jets, barely played. I feel like he was injured a lot, and I feel like he's still kind of fresh. Like even though he was injured, he didn't really get those 300 carries a season type bruises throughout the, the 2 seasons he was there with the Jets. And he had an awful offensive line. And no matter how good you are as a running back, you're never going to produce without your offensive line being as bad as they were. So, I mean, I guess you could say it's a testament to him that he wasn't a good enough back to overcome his bad offensive line. But not really, like I think when he had opportunities, he made plays and still shown that he was, if not an all-pro back, I mean, at least a Pro Bowl starting caliber back. And I think when he comes in with the Jets, or when he comes in with Kansas City, that field's going to be open for him. Those screen passes, they love to run. Him out of the backfield with open space. Him as a receiver in the slot with Patrick Mahomes. And then he has, obviously, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Nicole Hardman. All those guys to spread the field to give him what he does best is make people miss in the open field. So unless he just lost all of his ability, which I don't think that happened, but I guess only time will tell. I think he's going to succeed in Kansas City. He's going to play really well. And like you said, probably cash out next year. And probably, like you said, Miami, just because he lives there and he loves that scene apparently. So I could see him going down there, especially if Miami, I guess, trending upwards with, in their rebuild. I can see him latching onto that. But we'll see.
Yeah, especially if he wins a ring in Kansas City. I mean, he's kind of achieved that, that one thing everybody wants. So for him, he's gotten everything he wants in his career, so he can just kind of go wherever he wants. Whatever makes him, I guess, happiest. But I did see someone tweet how Mike Tomlin should get credit, considering the fact that he had to deal with the headache that Le'Veon Bell gave him and what Antonio Brown did. I think I do agree, keeping those guys in check and keeping them productive for a while on your team and making them, a big contributor to your team. I think that talks volumes for Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I think being able there's so much that goes on in an NFL locker room and behind the scenes that NFL fans and executives and all those people really aren't privy to. And it's pretty usually when something blows up and something spills over and boils over, that means it reached a point where it got so bad. But I can only imagine before that, like you said, credit to Mike Tomlin for probably keeping everything on the wraps, and people had no idea how long this was brewing for and how long there were headaches or how long they were causing issues or whatever. And then finally it spills over and now everybody knows. And it looks bad on Mike Tomlin. It looks bad on Mike Tomlin's point at that time when it happened. Oh, he can't control the locker room, this and that. But he probably had full control over the locker room until it just eventually all spilled over and everyone knew about what was going on. So, yeah, definitely credit to him for, I guess, keeping it, contained for as much as he could. Because then you saw when they left.
Just how bad it really was, where other teams could not do.
Exactly, yeah. Antonio Brown's departure with the Raiders was a shit show, and then with the Pats and all the allegations and all that. And then obviously, now with Le'Veon Bell, I mean, it wasn't that bad, but obviously not playing a whole season and then going to the Jets, now all this stuff coming out. He hates Adam Gase, all this blah, blah. Definitely credit for, to Tomlin. For what we know, I don't know, who knows, maybe Tomlin was fucking stirring the pot over there, telling Le'Veon he sucks, Antonio Brown should get the ball more. Big Ben put down a fucking cheeseburger and, look over for him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where Le'Veon Bell goes from here. But I think being in Kansas City, too, they kind of run a tight ship there. They don't have time to be dealing with bullshit. So if he starts acting up there, he's just going to get caught. And
that's the...
They'll be fine with
That's
Frenchie.
The luxury of signing him to that veteran minimum or whatever they signed him to, because the Jets are paying his contract. Right. So it's if he sucks, if he's not doing what the team wants him to do, and whatever. He tells Andy Reid to, share cheeseburgers with him, and Andy Reid doesn't want to do it. Tells Patrick Mahomes to get off TikTok or whatever the hell he's doing. They could just cut him.
He's off on the catch up. Yeah. Thank you for listening in to this clip of the Moose Bros podcast. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment below, and subscribe to this channel to see more clips just like this one. If you want to listen to the whole podcast, you can find us at Spotify or Apple Podcasts under Moose Bros Sports.